What's up, you guys? Jazz at the Out here in Singapore, and thank you so much for joining me on the Night Owl podcast. It's been a wonderful day, full of eventful conversations, lots of productivity. I was actually productive today, y'all. I got a lot done. I feel pretty good about it. But anyway, in the meanwhile, I feel like I have so much to do. The end of the year is kind of looming over me. I know we're in December already, but dang, I still got a ways to go, you know what I'm saying? So I was looking through my Instagram feed, looking for inspiration and looking for, thoughts that would kind of carry me through the rest of the day because I'm kind of slowly wearing down a little bit. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning right now, but I'm geeked up because, yeah, I have a bad habit of falling asleep with the phone in my hand. Anyway, so I had this post that kept, staying with me throughout the day. So when I see really nice posts, I usually like them because I need to give support back to the creator, and then I save it because I want to revisit the idea again later. So when I went back to my saved post, because it was kind of like lingering in the back of my head, I wanted to read it all over again. So it's an account called Lulu's Secret Desires, and I've been following them for a while now, and they have beautiful illustrations with a quote at the bottom of the illustration itself. And this one specifically says, "There are those who fight and there are those who survive. There are those who survive at the expense of others, and then there are those who survive for the sake of others. Wearing armor and being a survivor is only half the truth. Tell me why you're still standing." And it got me to thinking, you know what? Why don't I break this down piece by piece? So let's take it from the top, shall we? The first line is, there are those who fight and there are those who survive. Honestly, I fought to survive. I did both. I fought whenever I had to, and whenever I could, I would avoid confrontation and do what I had to do to just get through the day. So surviving to me means the path of least resistance, right? And just getting to the next day. How do I get to the next day? What do I have to do today so that I can just get to the next day? No one harass me, no talk to me, no one come, fight me about anything. I'm just gonna disappear and do the bare minimum and just get to the next day. So that's what surviving means to me. But fighting, sometimes I had to do that too. In order to the few confrontations that would not leave me alone, I had to show up to, I had to fight. And then after that, I kind of like disappear, so I don't need to expend any more energy. So for me, it's all about energy. I get very nervous about confrontations. I don't know which way it's going to go. And I'm always ready to fight back, obviously, if I need to, but if I can avoid that, I would rather do that. I don't want to lose my temper. I've done a really good job of not losing my temper for the last, 15 years. Yeah, I can say 15 years, y'all. Okay, so I've done a really good job of not doing that, but that also means that I remember what my temper was like once upon a time. So I'm not sure that I could rein it in if I were to let loose. So in order to avoid all that, I'm going to allow you to be boisterous and loud and, blow your top if you had to. And if I have to pick up my fists in order to stop you from hurting me, I will, but I would rather stand still and be quiet and let you vent all of that energy so that I can just get through it and get to the next place. Just leave the conversation at some point. It's very rare that I find the need to justify myself or fight back or even use my words to say, hey, you know what? No, that's not my intention. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I don't want to explain none of that shit. If you feel like I did something to you, then hey, that's your reality, and if you matter to me, I may say something to help you understand my perspective of things, but if not, I'm just going to let you vent. I'm just going to let you vomit, I'm just going to let it happen. So for me, fighting is one of those rare instances where I need to pick up my fists, where I need to fight back, where I need to actually, physically put you back in your place so I can get away from you. And it doesn't happen very often because I feel like not giving in to your demands, not playing along when you're inviting me to fight actually has more of an effect for those people around me than fighting back with you. A lot of people are waiting for the reaction, and I refuse to give the reaction. I don't want to give that to you, because then you can actually use my feelings against me, and I don't want that to happen either. So I tend to blank out. I look like a deer caught in the headlights, a lot like my daughter does. I know exactly where that comes from. But it's just to get through the argument so I can get to that next place. So it's still survival mode. I'm not really fighting. The next line says, there are those who survive at the expense of others, and there are those who survive for the sake of others. Now, I know the difference between this as well, and I would like to think that for the most part I have survived for the sake of others. There have been plenty of times I want to give up. I just don't want to continue. If I'm going to be really honest, there were a couple times last week where I just wanted to sit in the windowsill and really contemplate whether I was afraid of heights or not. But I decided not to, because if anything happens to me, there is no one, literally no one, who will step up and take care of my daughter. And not in a short time span. She's going to have to deal with the drama of me leaving first. So I don't want that. I don't want her to be traumatized. I don't want that to be on her head. I need her to concentrate and build this legacy of hers that she's got in her heart to do. So that's out the window, literally. Oh, that idea is out the window. And I decided that I'm going to survive for people. I'm going to make sure that I survive so that I can share whatever I know and I can lift as many spirits as I can while I have time here on earth before, Source calls me back. But in the meantime, I also know plenty of people who survive at the expense of others, meaning to say that they could possibly take control of their lives. They could probably step up and find a reason to go on living every day, but they would rather not. And they're stuck, unfortunately. I'm not saying that they're using people. I'm not saying that they are weak or, incapable. They're totally capable. Everyone is completely capable. It's just that they haven't found what it is that they want to use as an anchor, as I don't even know what to call it, like something to hold on to so that you don't just kind of sleep your life away. Something that pulls you out of bed every morning, something that gets you going in the morning. And it's hard for some people. Some people are just tired of the things that they have to do on a daily basis. And so the energy that they expend in the work that they do, perhaps, or the relationships or the conversations that they have to have, do not fill them with excitement. And so they don't feel the need to get up and go do much of anything. It's almost like I think I saw this just recently. The definition of somberi in some people's language, somberi means a lazy person. That's how we use it. But I heard someone say that the definition of somberi is a person in power saving mode. And that's particularly what it is. A person who is not driven, who is not excited about anything, is generally in power saving mode. They don't feel the need to expend energy anywhere if they don't have to, because what's the point? Where is it going to go? What is the aim of all of this? What is the point is the general question. So for those people, I feel really badly, and I know plenty of them around me. I'm not judging you at all, but I also feel bad because you're not enjoying your life either. I can guarantee you're not enjoying your life. You're not thriving by any means. You're just kind of surviving from day to day. You're doing the bare minimum and getting by and just hoping that something kind of picks you up and carries you with them because you can't find it for yourself. And I feel really badly for you because I've been in that place before as well. And when you're waiting for someone else to kind of get it together for you or pick you up or stop you in your tracks or help you change trajectory, it means you are not in control of your life. You're at the mercy of something else. And that is also a very helpless feeling. It's almost like a catch-22, like an endless cycle. You don't do anything because you don't feel like doing anything. And because you didn't do anything, you now feel bad because you didn't do anything. And now you don't feel like doing any more because you don't feel very worthful and you don't feel like you're very useful. And it's just kind of feeding into each other over and over again. So I feel badly. And I'm not entirely sure always how to help those kinds of people, but I do my best. I lend my energy wherever I can, my support wherever I can, and it is my hope that something picks you up, something clicks inside of you, and you're like, you know what? Fuck all this noise. I'm going to go and get something done because I want to, for me, not for anybody else. I'm not proving anything to the world. I'm just doing it for my own sake. So that is my take on those people who survive at the expense of others versus those people who survive for the sake of others. Now, I love this line. It says, wearing armor and being a survivor is only half the truth. Tell me why you're still standing. And yeah, that's true. Anybody can wear armor. The people who are hurt wear armor so they don't get hurt again. The people who are ready to go fight the world because they're just angry with everybody because it stems from something that happened that they couldn't control, they have armor on. They're ready to fight the whole world. People like me, I don't really wear armor, I don't think, but I do have walls up. I do have enough space between me and the next person where no one can get close enough to hurt me. So it's not that I actively defend myself, but I keep my distance everywhere because I don't trust anybody. I've had too many people turn on me. I've had too many people just, decide that they didn't like the way that I was doing things, or they didn't appreciate the fact that I wasn't all for them, that I didn't keep all of my energy just for them, that I was involved with too many people. There are plenty of people like that. So in order for me to stay safe, in order for me to not get caught up and lose myself in the process of getting to know people and helping where I can, I have a wall. I have a moat. I have space between me and the next person just to keep myself safe. So with all that being said and done, right, where do I stand right now? I started all of this to take care of my kids. I started all of this to show my kids that you don't have to stay in a marriage if it's not working out for you. Please, by all means, say something, do whatever you can to see if it can be remedied or fixed, but remember it takes two hands to clap, and if the other hand is not coming to meet you, right, it's almost like a slap in the face at that point, You take your cues and you got to do what you got to do, especially if there are kids involved. I never want to see kids feel like they have to stay because their parents stayed. Now, to a degree, I stayed because my mom stays. It's a different kind of strength. I don't have that kind of strength, but I tried it and it didn't work for me. Now, I don't also want to promote the fact that if you stay that you are weak and you can't leave. That's not the case at all. It depends on how afraid you are. Really, it is an insurmountable task to overcome your fears sometimes, especially when you feel like your life is in danger on a daily basis, that your safety is being threatened, that your sense of security is in limbo because you don't know where to go, what to do, and you don't know what will trigger the person next for them to want to attack you again. So these are real fears, and I don't wish that on anyone because it is a terrifying place to be, and I have been there before. But by the time I finally mustered up the courage to leave, right, I felt like I was doing my kids a service by showing them that it is possible to overcome that fear. It is possible to get courage and leave, but not by yourself. Sometimes you need the help of others. I was lucky to have my mother and my brother help me out. I was lucky to have my kids be supportive of this, actually. And even then, my stepdaughter was like, can you take me with you? And I was like, unfortunately, I don't even have custody of you. I can't do any of the sort, and I don't want to cause any further trouble. So unfortunately, I have to leave you behind. My son to this day keeps in touch and asks me how we're doing. He does miss me, and I do miss him. Baby girl misses him too. But I'm grateful because they understood at the time, and they could see it firsthand that it was not conducive to me being safe, to me thriving, to me being the best mom that I could be because I was so busy fighting with him that I wasn't able to be present for the kinds of things that I wanted to be. I was there. I helped with homework. I cooked dinner. I physically was there. Mentally, I was not. And while I went through the motions of being a parent, I know I could have done better. And they were formative years for them. They were teenagers. They needed that. So I apologize for all of that. But now that I've been able to make that stand, I stand again. And this time between people who have been in situations like mine, where they're being forced to make a decision that is not at all in tune to who they are or where they are at in their own spiritual journey. And I stand between those people who would like to control someone else in order to feel a sense of power, and those people who are being controlled because they don't have space to speak up. They have never been allowed to speak up. So while I stand between those two factions, I am trying to make sure that the people who are behind me, that I'm standing in front of, that I'm protecting, are able to find a way to learn to stand up for themselves. Because the last thing I want to do is to give charity, right? And for them to constantly be dependent on that charity going forward. I would rather feed you and then teach you how to fish, right? Because then you can be self-sufficient no matter where you go, rather than only feed you and have you dependent on me. That's a different kind of power hungry move too. I've seen a lot of people who will create things or teach things and they are expecting you to stay with them forever. They need you to be dependent on them because that's how they make their money in the world. That's how they make their living. That's how they feel important. And that's also not okay. That's also taking advantage of people. I don't want you to need me the rest of your life. I want you to know you can depend on you. And then if you need help, you are able to ask for help as well, but you are able to do a lot for yourself. You're able to pretty much sustain yourself. And if the need arises, you're able to reach out for help as well. So that's basically how I feel about that quote. Magnificent quote, plenty to think about. And as you can tell, I've been thinking about it all day. So with that being said, you guys, I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I am not by any means judging anyone in their circumstance. Your cross is your own to bear, and each person's cross is heavy to them, and I get that. I respect that. But for me, I figured, you know what? I've been carrying this cross for a very long time, and part of it isn't even mine, and I'm about to put the burden down and do what I have to do to be able to take care of the people who actually do depend on me. My husband was never dependent on me. He was in the way that he needed me to take care of the kids and needed me to take care of the house, so all he had to do was come home and eat and sleep and go out again. But ultimately, I was not in charge of raising him. I was not in charge of taking care of him only. There were other people that were dependent on my income, my stability, my peace of mind, because without my peace of mind, I wouldn't be able to take care of anybody. So when I realized that, I did what I had to do. And it was a process. It wasn't like an overnight thing at all. It took me most of the year 2013 to get my act together and really decide, yeah, you know what? I'm leaving. I can't be here anymore. So I hope this makes some sense. I hope it helps clarify a couple of things for you. And I hope you know that whether you're surviving or you're fighting, you have it within you to create the life that you want. You can overcome pretty much anything if you put your mind to it. But the hard part is getting your mind there. The hard part is seeing through all of that fear and that doubt that you have. Especially if you have someone breathing down your neck telling you that you should be afraid. Telling you what the consequences would be if you didn't have them. What would happen? What would your life be like if you didn't have me? Do you have any idea how much I protect you? Do you have any idea what I do for you? Those are the kinds of things I dealt with on a daily basis. So, I get where you're coming from. I know your burden is huge to you. And I respect that. But also know that if you ever needed help, there are people around that would be willing to help. And it's okay to ask for help until you're strong enough to do for yourself. So, I love you guys. I hope this helped, and I will catch you again soon. Bye.